Hi, I took part in the Danny Game Jam this year, and then I made a game in it. And this is the video of the game of making the game. The jam was pretty long compared to a lot of other game jams. We had 2 weeks to make a game, and the theme was attraction. You know, like magnets, but also not magnets, but still mostly magnets. People mostly make games about magnets. Let me show you one. Great stuff. So at first I wasn't sure if I was even going to participate, but then I had an idea of like, hey, you know orbits? Orbits are attraction. What if you orbit? The orbit is you. So it was decided. I was going to make a game where things orbit around you and you could like throw them or use them as shields or whatever. So you know, new project, the floor, the walls, and a player. Now, is it just me? Next we need some things to orbit around the player, which means physics objects. Little problem, physics objects don't interact all too well with character bodies, which I'm using for the player. But I found a workaround, and now it still doesn't work, but better, which is good enough for now. To get them rotating around the player, I have an empty object that spins around, and then I make another object with an offset and lock the box to that position. Then I add it to a list, do some math so they are evenly separated, and there you have it. No, you're supposed to obey me, the 7 boxes. Now we just have to add the throwing, and hey, that wasn't so hard. Never mind, there's errors if I do it too fast. And now there's an empty object in orbit. And now it crashed, that's fine. I decided to leave that stuff for later and make like an outline when you're looking at a box to kinda highlight it. Now that's usually done with shaders, so I looked around for those. However, the ones I tried either didn't work with the cube or were too thin, so I ended up going with this one instead. It is kinda cool. I sure can't wait to see what it will look like on the web build, which is a mandatory thing we have to have for this game jam. Hey, fun fact, did you know that shaders don't work on web builds? Now, in my experience, Godot is a lot better at web builds than Unity, where you had to kind of mess around in the settings for it to even load, and then the audio would sometimes not work, and then the UI would be messed up. But it does still suffer from some issues that come with making a game work on this frickin' thing. Also, I wasn't sure what I wanted the gameplay to be like. Was this going to be a puzzle game, or a high-scored arcade game, or bowling? I yet again started making the game before finishing the idea, so I decided to give up. And just do 2D instead, which seems to work a lot better. But I'm sick of these boxes, so I decided to make a frying pan, and now we just need someone to hit with the frying pan. Someone to hit with the frying pan. Ouch. Ouch. Ow. Ow. Ouch. Ouch. Hey, look. You see that ramp? Watch me fly. It's a lot deeper than I thought. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I do a lot of things. You know, I wonder what the percentage of people is who would want to start their life over versus those who wouldn't. It's something to think about. Alright, so I think I have a general idea of what I want this game to be. I was thinking you eat a black hole and develop a severe case of gravity. And the government wants to kill you. So you go room to room, throwing boxes at them, and then you win, maybe. It's like that game Ultrakill, but if it wasn't like Ultrakill, but was like something else instead. I stole their checkpoint design and then never used it. Anyways, art. So I'm still not an artist, but I'm learning, I think. I decided to go for whatever this is for the game's art style. I don't know what I'm doing, but this is art now. Hey, look at this. You can throw boxes at them, and then you can throw them at them. Wow, so cool. I also made this system where if the item you throw does more damage than the enemy has health, it will just hit the next enemy with the remaining damage. So I made this red box which does 100,000 damage. That was kind of fun. Music. I worked a bit on some music. The main house theme isn't that great, but it fits fine enough. And for the menu music, I had no idea what to make, so I made this. Yeah, it just is menu music. Also, I tied the player's health to the items you have in orbit to have that shield idea I was talking about, but this brought an issue with it. Say you're in a room with a bunch of enemies and they beat you to the brink of death. Uh-oh, you have no more items to defend yourself with. Killer drone swarm, I'm dead. So I added bottle stations where if you have no items you can at least get something to defend yourself with. This was a lot of help against the faster enemies. Look, they have triangle glasses. That means they're awesome. Also, to add some more item variety, I made a book, a blender, a knife, and of course the IKEA shark. I then for some reason decided that the game needs frogs to explain the game mechanics to you. I don't think that's what frogs look like, but just go with it please. Godot also has this cool thing called rich text label, which you can use to give text some funny effects, so I made it shaky, because in my mind that's how frogs talk. Oh boy, I hope this frog doesn't say something crazy. No! We need more levels, and by levels, I mean level. I'm just making one. So the second stage is where you escape your house and enter the subway, and a cool trick I did with the music is to just use different instruments and slightly different note patterns, and then you don't have to make a whole nother song. I love recycling. It tastes so good! Naturally, this being a train station, it needs trains to run you over and stuff. So I did just that. That looks like a train, right? And in combination with the enemies, it's a neat little hazard. Just don't look into the code for them, you'll develop horse rabies. Speaking of enemies, we need a new one. So I made this thing. I don't know why it looks like a duck, but it shoots stuff at you. They're very fun to see get ran over. There was a funny little bug one of my friends found while playtesting, where on the web version you'd hear the trains passing at full volume no matter how far away they were. It was so loud that he melted into a puddle of grey goop. I miss him. But we learned something. Don't play an already loud sound on a 2D audio player through an animation on a web build. Go write that down. Also, to cover some story stuff, I made this little slideshow where Garrett Localman eats the black hole. I love naming things. The final room of the game is this nightmare, and it has these two red guys at the end, and they suck. Anyways, after that you get cornered and blow up the world, and the end. Moral of the story, don't do that. You're not my mom. So the game's pretty much done now, but there's still some time left before the deadline, which means I could make another level. Or I could make a secret fight against the mirror demon. You know, that thing that's contained in every mirror and will taunt you if you're not looking at it. But I know it's... Anyways, I submitted the game to the jam and so far people seem to like it, except for the crashes. But there's a lot of cool games that have been submitted, so I'd be happy with getting it to the top 100. What do you mean first place community ranking? They'd slowly move a magnet to another magnet simulator. Why did this win? I was not expecting that, but hey, Danny, if you want to send me $4 million in prize money, here's my email, let's talk. Anyway, so yeah, that's that, but a couple other things I'd like to say. First of all, the channel recently hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm very thankful for that, but I don't deserve it, so I urge you all to unsubscribe. And also my last video, I said I'd eat a bowl of peas if someone beat my time. And Dania V from my Discord, you should join my Discord. He got a time of 7.5 minutes somehow. So if you want to see me eat a bowl of peas, that's on my second channel. Okay, please like and subscribe. Spend $80 on my games.